engines, gearboxes, ECUs.
We have a look now at the 1994 Dunlop Rover Turbo Cup that kicks off at Silverstone at the end of March. The car and the championship were launched at Thruxton last September, and there were many interested drivers on hand to look at the new car for Rover Sport's principal one-make championship. The development work had been done by Tony Pond, and first of all the car had to go testing at Donington Park. Pond, the man behind the wheel. He developed the 216 GTI for one-make racing. He was going to develop the 220 Turbo as well. Even in far from ideal conditions, the Rover certainly proved to be a quick car, and Pond was impressed with it right from the outset. The testing continued away from Donington as the Rover moved to Pau in France. Once again, Pond conducting many laps behind the wheel as he made sure the car was ready for racing. With a 2-litre turbocharged engine producing over 200 brake horsepower, this is going to be a very rapid car indeed. There'll be over 30 of them on the grid. The Dunlop Rover Turbo Cup promises to be the one-make racing championship.
It was quite slippery for 3 laps, 4 laps, 5 laps.
Not surprisingly, all the cars run on Dunlop tyres, and their tyre technicians were making sure that they could stand up to the wear rate. A special run of 35 cars were made at Longbridge, all ready for the championship. The cars have sealed engines and gearboxes. They also have an air restrictor on the turbo. Rover Sport have put £180,000 into the prize and assistance fund for the championship, making it one of the richest one-make series ever seen. The cars all run with Torsen traction controls, and they run on Dunlop racing tyres. Add to that adjustable front suspension, and you can see why 31 drivers so far have pledged their support to the 1994 Dunlop Rover Turbo Cup. The 150 mph, 200 brake horsepower identical Rovers are sure to provide some fast and furious action in this, the leading one-make championship in 1994. From Longbridge, the cars head to Gaydon, where they're race prepared. Here, the machinery takes on something of a transformation. It becomes a racing car. No longer is it a production road machine. In goes the roll cage, on goes the championship livery. The Rover 220 Turbo is now very much a racing car. Silverstone is the home of British motor racing, and it was also the home of the Dunlop Rover Turbo Cup's test day. The first chance for many of the drivers to actually shake down their 1994 mounts. The championship boasts some very experienced drivers. Single-seater and saloon experts aplenty in the 31-strong field. Former double British touring car champion, ex-TVR Tuscan champion Chris Hodgetts is certainly one of the favourites for the crown in 1994. You're not going to miss the car, nor its curb-hopping style. The test day gave all the drivers a chance to learn about the cars, and it gave the teams a chance to learn about the technology and about the machinery. Not surprisingly, tyre wear was one of the major concerns and one of the major factors the teams had to understand prior to the start of the year. Midway through the test session, Martin Short was quickest, although soon he'd be knocked off that top slot by Peter Baldwin. Lance Ellington here on the left steps up from the Rover 216 Championship into the Turbo Cup for 1994. Having been increasingly rapid throughout 1993, he's a man to watch, but this is the man they all fear as the season is about to kick off. Peter Baldwin, the experienced Mini, Metro and Rover racer in the past, has moved up to the Turbo Cup for 1994, once again in his familiar orange livery. Baldwin was fastest during the course of the test day. He starts as the favourite for the crown. Moving back to Rover racing after a year in the National Saloon Car Cup is Nick Carr, whose company supply Rover with all their paints. Let's join Carl for a lap of the Silverstone National Circuit. We're coming up to Copse Corner. This the fastest part of Silverstone's national circuit, under the vehicle bridge and hard on the brakes into the left-hander of Brooklands. Now through the two elements of Luffield, and then the cars will dive through the long right-hander of Woodcote Corner up across the start and finish line. That is a lap of Silverstone. Carr himself has bags of experience of racing at national level. An ex-Clubman's driver, he switched into the Rover Championship in 1992 and raced a 220 last year in Group N. Now he's back in Rover's one-make championship and he's here to win. More newcomers to the fold in 1994 include Alvin Heaton. He's been racing Ford Fiesta XR2s in the predominantly northwest-based XR Challenge in the past. Paul Lynde steps up from Honda CRXs and acquitted himself in spectacular fashion on the test day. Rob Mears has raced Rovers in the past, as well as racing Formula 3. He's not averse to the odd spin now and again, however. But Mears wasn't the only driver to get it wrong at Silverstone on the test day. Let's rejoin Nick Carr as he comes up across the start and finish line and heads down towards Copse Corner. It's all about to go horribly wrong for him. The good news is he didn't hit anything solid, and Carr was able to continue. Last year, Rover Sport's principal one-make championship was for the Rover 216 GTI. One of the best races of the year came at Silverstone supporting the British Grand Prix. That race, like the championship, was won by Dave Loudon, who had in fact won the crown in 1991 as well. An ex-Metro champion, an ex-Fiesta champion, Loudon has got problems for 1994.
Yeah, we had a bit of a sponsorship hiccup about 3 weeks ago. Somebody that promised us all over the winter that they would back us for the season decided not to, and it's left us a bit high and dry at the moment.
Now, obviously, you're planning to do the 94 Rover Turbo Cup. What does that mean in terms of the first race?
Well, if we get a decision out of these people today, we've got to try and pick a car up tomorrow and build it in a week, which is a fair bit of work, as you can imagine.
But you still hope to be on the grid in time for race one?
If we can start tomorrow, then we'll be there, yes.
Now, you've had the opportunity to test these cars a little bit. You're something of a one-make specialist. You've won God knows how many championships. How do they compare with anything you've driven before?
Well, obviously they're a lot quicker. They've got over 200 brake horsepower, which is more than a normal one-make championship has. They're heavier cars. They're a lot quicker. They're going to be good fun.
And what are your thoughts for this year's championship?
Well, I'd like to be in it and win it.
The main opposition will come from?
Oh, there's hundreds of them. There's 10 really good lads in there. That's the ones that I know, without actually the unknowns.
And this is one of the unknowns. Belgian driver Philippe Verellen moves across to British national racing with a reputation for being a fine touring car racer back home. He doesn't know the circuits that well, but already he's being tipped as a possible for the championship.
Well, I was proposed to take part in this series, first of all. And secondly, I was very interested to race in the UK because I know that this is the place to be in motor racing. And it was an opportunity for me which I couldn't slip away, so I decided to come over and give it a try.
Now, how do you find the car itself?
Well, I still have to get used to it because from my point of view, the steering wheel is on the wrong side of the car. But that's okay, I get used to it. It's just completely different. I have to learn the racetracks, the car, the other driving position. But I hope I will get used to it, and I hope to get some good results.
Now, this is a very competitive championship. Some of Britain's top one-make drivers are in it. Nonetheless, you're being mentioned as one of the dark horses for the series.
I don't know. I only know that it will be very difficult because I know that this series is very competitive. There are a lot of extremely good drivers. So I don't know exactly what to think about it, but I only can say that I will do my best. But I do realize very well that it will be very hard.
Rover Sport themselves put a great amount of effort into making sure the championship is a success. Not only is there £180,000 in prize and assistance fund, but they run an extensive media programme. That includes the family album shot of all the drivers, complete with the car, here at Silverstone before the championship gets underway. There are then the head and shoulders photographs, pictures of the drivers distributed to all the regional newspapers. The Rover Sport Championships, both the Dunlop Rover Turbo Cup and the 216 GTI Championship, are part of the new Best of British Motorsport initiative, which brings the leading championships to the leading circuits in a well-tailored promotion of motorsport.
Formally record on behalf of Rover Cars our appreciation and thanks to our championship sponsors.
Before the season gets underway, though, there are still a few more test laps to be conducted at Silverstone after lunch. Continuing the extensive media involvement, David Cole has sponsorship from the Mirror Group for his car. Mirror readers are hoping that he's going to be successful in '94. Cole has been a regular in Rover racing in the past, but there are still plenty of newcomers to the series. Take, for example, Dave Cox, the ex-Renault racer, switching across to a more rapid one-make racing car. Robin Donovan has raced in the British Touring Car Championship, he's raced at Le Mans and he's raced in Interserie in the past. But now he faces a totally new challenge, one-make racing with a Rover Turbo. Ian Connell with the welcome brake car is back. David Cole looking increasingly confident as testing wore on. They are going to be two drivers to watch, as is this man, Boltonian Rob Moores, an ex-Formula 4 and Toyota Formula 3 champion, backed by Richard Court garages in Oldham. Andy Ackley has won the Honda CRX Championship in the past. He too is going to be a thorn in the side of the regular Rover racers, who include this man, the ever-controversial Martin Short. Short won races last year, he was disqualified from others. He'll be keen to put disappointments behind him and win the 1994 Dunlop Rover Turbo Cup. The problem is, so are another 30 drivers. This is the calendar. It all kicks off at Silverstone in March, and races not only support the British Grand Prix at Silverstone, but take the competitors to Spa in Belgium and Zandvoort in Holland. The final round takes the crews back to Silverstone in October for a race on the challenging Grand Prix circuit over 3 miles of a lap. As for a champion, it's like sticking a pin in a list of names. Any one of around 10 or 15 drivers could well do it, such is the depth of talent.